Back in early June of 2023, Nintendo of America uploaded a video called Nintendo Switch How-To Series, How to Create a Nintendo Account. It was a pretty standard video showing how to create a Nintendo account, add members to a family group, and how to create an account for a child. It would have been your average instructional video if it weren't for the fact that they used Bowser as the parent in the example and have the child account be for Bowser Jr. Now this wasn't very surprising for the time, seeing how Nintendo mostly used them as the main characters for their parental controls video. However, a bit of information in the video caught everyone's attention. When Bowser created his own account, he listed his birthday as February 5th, 1989 and Junior's as March 3rd, 2010. YouTube videos and articles were quickly made and spread the fact that we finally know Bowser's age, and it was canonically revealed to be 34 years old and Bowser Jr. was 13 years old. A small detail I want to point out is that the birthday for the child account listed the year 2011 instead of 2010 when you first have to enter the birthday, and changes entirely to February 1st, 2011 before entering the account details, but you could chalk this second birthday up to being a default before you change it, seeing how it would have made the child 12, and child accounts are intended for those 12 and younger. That and the date is irrelevant anyway, seeing how the profile wasn't filled out yet. Anyway, despite delisting and later privating the video, the damage had already been done. People took these asinine discussions as fact and took them to heart. Now let me make my stance on this matter clear. I don't care about the fact that we got these characters' birthdays. In fact, I greatly appreciate it. Just a fun little tidbit to know about some characters I like. My problem is with the years given. Those of us who actually have knowledge on the franchise can quickly point out a few major problems with this information. One being that Mario games rarely use real world dates for anything. When they do, they sure as hell won't provide any years, which is perfectly understandable. That and people will stupidly argue using release dates and years as a metric, which I don't even have the strength to explain why that's dumb. I'm losing enough brain cells already by just looking at these articles. More importantly though, is that Bowser is supposed to be relative in age to Mario, so allow me to hopefully be the first person to fully explain to you why neither Bowser or Bowser Jr.'s birthdays make any lick of sense. Starting with Bowser, as said earlier, his age is supposedly 34 years old. Now as crazy as it may sound, you could make an argument for Bowser being this old, though it isn't a very good one. The only way to do this would be by arguing off of the statement from Paper Mario Color Splash that Mario has been fighting Bowser for 30 years, and by claiming that baby Bowser is a bit older than we thought in the Yoshi's Island games. When it comes to the statement, for one, it isn't present in the Japanese version. In Japanese, Huey says something along the lines of, "The picture of Princess Peach that was hanging on the wall is gone. Where could she have gone?" Speaking of 30 years, let me ask you a question. Do you know what came out around 30 years before this game came out? That's right, it was the original Super Mario Bros. This is clearly just a reference to the franchise's anniversary, albeit a year late, but this game was still in development during the 30th anniversary. Moreover, this is Paper Mario anyway. We're well past the point where paper games are story adaptations. This is Paper Mario, Paper Mario. As for the Yoshi's Island point, you can roughly estimate how old Bowser truly is by comparing his characteristics in this part of the franchise to Mario in his established age. In a Japanese interview from 2005, Miyamoto revealed Mario's age to be about 24 to 25 years old. Looking back on Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, where Mario is a newborn baby, baby Bowser is shown being capable of speaking in complete, albeit broken, sentences. The same goes for Yoshi's New Island, which takes place the very next day, and also Yoshi's Woolly World, but that's not relevant to this. If we compare baby Bowser's speech capabilities to human babies, most sources you'll find will place his age around 2 to 3 years old. However, this estimation is fairly rough, seeing how children develop at different rates, and multiple parents have stated their child's speech development, when compared to Bowser's, have been shown as early as 2 years old, sometimes a few months earlier. So you could argue Bowser is about 2 to 3 years older than Mario, but Mario himself adds something to this equation. He is by no means a normal baby. Mario, being no older than 1 day old, shows that he's capable of supporting his head, sitting up, and crawling, also walking, but that's only with the help of a power-up. Regular babies learn to crawl sometime between 7 to 12 months old, but again, it could be a bit earlier or later. That means, as a newborn, Mario has shown that he's as physically capable as a near 1-year-old. The boy was just born yesterday, what the hell? Now, I don't know if this is because babies in the Mario universe are just built different. Maybe it's just Mario and a few others. I don't like making baseless claims, so let's just go off what we see and say Mario has the attributes of a near 1-year-old as a newborn. If we assume this advancement in physical growth also applies to his development overall, this would still make Bowser a year or two older than Mario due to having the capabilities of a 2 to 3-year-old. Now, you could refute this by arguing that's how it is for human babies. We're talking about a fire-breathing turtle. My answer to that is, we don't know how the aging of a Koopa of Bowser's part of the species work, so it's best to work off a reasonable metric, not unprovable claims. Let me wrap this section up. I know y'all didn't come here to hear random baby facts. Using the development traits of baby Mario and baby Bowser, we can safely say that there's a 1 to 2 year age difference between Mario and Bowser. With Mario being 24 to 25 years old, that will make Bowser's age 25 to 27 years old. As for Bowser Jr.'s age, it's more so, I might as well say there's no official way to establish his age in the same way you can Bowser's. Let me start off by explaining why I don't think he's 13 years old. If we were to go by the age given in the original video, that would have made Bowser 21 years old when he had Jr. If we were to apply Bowser's true age to this, that would put his age between 12 to 14 when he had Jr. Now, some may argue it's possible that Bowser could have had Jr. this young due to the fact that turtles can begin reproducing at young ages. I'm not even going to provide an exact age as it's unnecessary and varies between species. Even with that, let me remind you, Bowser is not a turtle, he is a Koopa. And this may seem like a weird arguing point, but I don't think Nintendo will want to push the idea of Bowser being an underage parent when he's already shown so many similarities to humans. Like I said, weird argument, but that's what happens when you have absolutely nothing to work with when it comes to Bowser Jr.'s age. I'm just bringing up possible defenses because I'm steel manning here. If I had to provide an explanation as to why Nintendo made them 34 and 13, they likely wanted a decent age gap between father and son. Alright, enough with that. Let's try to answer the question of how old Jr. truly is. I'm not going to act like my answer is the best one, but I'll try. If we were to go off Bowser's true age and say that he had Jr. at the earliest point he reasonably could have by modern human standards, that being 18, that would make Jr. 7 to 9 years old. I'd say this is a fairly reasonable range, though you could argue the low end to actually be 5 years old, with 9 being a bit of a highball, again, assuming he was born at the earliest point. Personally, I'd argue the high end to be 8. If you were to look into the expected and observed behaviors of children around this age, Jr., as he's portrayed in Bowser Jr.'s Journey and Paper Jam, perfectly falls into this generalized age range. Something else to back this up would be his similarities to baby Bowser, not in personality, rather appearance. Bowser Jr. looks practically identical to baby Bowser, a bit older baby Bowser I mean, so it wouldn't be implausible to assume that they would look the same at similar points in their lives. So to recap, you can more concretely argue that Bowser's age is supposed to be between 25 to 27 years old when compared to baby Bowser and the developments they've shown as babies, while Bowser Jr. can vaguely be argued to be between 5 to 9 years old by looking at his character traits in comparison to the development of children at that age, and by highballing the earliest point Bowser could have reasonably had him. I know my answer for Jr. isn't very solid, but again, that's what happens when you have nothing to work with in the first place. With all that said, tell me your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe to keep up with the channel's content. Until next time, see ya.